Oh hey, didn't see you there. Today is a very special occasion. We have a very classy guitar, very classic guitar. It is timeless, it is precious. Nobody ever wants to change it because it is absolutely perfect. I am of course talking about the Gibson Les Paul. Some of you might not know this, but the Gibson Les Paul was actually invented on April 20th, 1969. Very old guitar. It's commonly known for having fan frets such as this and being tuned extremely low. The standard tuning of this instrument is all the way down to F sharp, just as classic rock bands such as Periphery and Christian worship bands such as Infant Annihilator have tuned to since the late 70s, early 80s. And I'm about to play you guys a classic surf rock song. This is a demo that I wrote specifically for this guitar using all the vintage features that are built into here, and I really hope you guys like it. This is how this beautiful classic guitar sounds. If you made it this far into the video, first of all, congratulations on passing that cringe, and if you couldn't tell that I was being sarcastic, I think you might need to go to the doctor. So anyways, with that out of the way, let's talk about what this thing actually is. It's obviously not a Les Paul. It is a Les Paul clone by a company named Agile. Agile Guitars is a brand that you guys have probably heard of. They're more well known for making like weird 6, 7, and 8 string guitars. Well, I guess this qualifies as pretty weird as well. So this is called an Agile AL3010S. It is obviously made to look like a classic sunburst Les Paul, but with a twist. Quite literally, get it? With a twist. So anyways, this is a multi-scale instrument, fan fret instrument, whichever way you prefer to call it. Basically what that means is on the top high E string, it is a 24.75 inch scale length, which is like a standard Les Paul Gibson scale length that they would use. And on the bottom, it goes all the way down to 27 inches. This is the same scale length that almost all of, well, it actually is the same scale length that all of my 8 string guitars are. So that's why I was able to get this so low. This is actually tuned to the lowest note is tuned to the same note as a 8 string guitar. So very low, very silly. And that's why I wanted it. I thought it was so weird that I had to have it. It's a very inexpensive guitar. I think brand new from Agile's website, which is rondomusic.com. I'm pretty sure they're only like 400 bucks or something like that. But someone was selling this used locally for less than that, and I just absolutely couldn't resist the opportunity to buy this thing and trigger all the dad rockers throughout the world. So obviously this thing is pretty ridiculous, but honestly for that price, which again is $400 US, it's actually pretty fucking good, like surprisingly good for that price. There's no sharp fret ends at all. The only things that I don't like about it, which again are pretty like understandable for a $400 range guitar, is the pickups are kind of meh. But again, with saying that, they're obviously also not meant to be tuned all the way down to F sharp, so I think in E standard or drop D or something, they probably sound fine. But obviously if you're gonna go with a weird extreme tuning, then you probably need to change your pickups anyways, and this guitar is no exception to that. Other than that, the only other two things that I noticed is the tuning pegs are a little bit meh as well. They are name brand, they're Grover tuners, but they don't hold tuning quite so well. But again, that might just be because I'm tuning it all the way down to F sharp, and they're probably not made to do that. So again, take that with a bit of a grain of salt. If you're tuning this to a normal tuning, I'm sure it's probably a little bit better. This also has the classic Les Paul issue where when you're twisting the tuning pegs, especially on the two high strings, they have that like pinging noise where if you're tuning up, it just won't do anything, and then all of a sudden you'll hear like a ping, and then it'll go like way sharp. So it's pretty hard to like actually tune it, especially on the two high strings. But that's a very common issue with like any single cut guitar with this kind of headstock where the strings are angled so extreme. So again, that's to be expected. And the only thing that I don't like about this guitar that is like, I guess their own fault, is that the fret angle is way too extreme in my opinion. Again, I knew this going into it because 24.75 to 27 inches is a huge angle, especially with only 6 strings to cover that massive spread. So as you can see, the angle is very, very extreme. Whereas again, on my like 8-string guitar, for example, that's only 25.5 to 27. So that's only a 0.75 inch difference, but that spread is across a larger width because it's an 8-string, so the angle doesn't seem nearly as extreme. But on this, like, it definitely is pretty hard to hit like the first fret on the low 6th string because the nut actually like catches your finger here. So when I fret the first fret, for example, my finger is like basically actually on the fret, not before the fret. So it's a little weird, not quite perfect, but again, it's $400, like it's not that big of a deal. So my opinion on this guitar is it's actually pretty good for the price. I definitely got it as a joke, but it actually is pretty good. I have no idea if I'm actually gonna keep it. I probably won't because again, it was more just as a novelty, but I don't know, who knows? Maybe if I threw some like Seymour Duncan blackouts in this, it would actually be pretty awesome. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if I desperately need money one day and end up selling it, but for now, I'm probably gonna keep it for a little while and play around with it a little more and trigger some more dad rockers. So if you like this video and you want to learn more about this guitar, I'll put the link to this exact guitar model where you can learn all the specs in the description below. There's also a bunch of other links in the description that would be very helpful if you clicked. There are links to things such as my Spotify, my Apple Music, my merch store where you can get merch like this and many other things. There's also a link to my Patreon page where you can get the download links to all of the audio I post on my channel. You can also get the stems, which means the individual guitar, bass, drums, all those tracks in my Patreon as well. And you can also get a shout out in the description below. You can see that there's already a few people in there such as Quinn McGraw, Joshua Seel, Mike, Ghostaaay, and Jordan Smith. Thank you guys so much for being early adopters of the Patreon. So once again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Be on the lookout for more videos with this ridiculous Les Paul abomination in the future. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you did, click that like button, give me a comment, give me a subscribe, all the usual stuff that every YouTuber asks you to do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.